I kind of forget what I was saying. Um, I'm just gonna jump ahead. During that time of going through that pain, but deciding to lean on God more than I ever have, at a time where it felt the most scary, I wanted to try to do it all my way. I wanted to try to put in a lot of work. Not that I wasn't trying to do it godly. I was being godly, doing good. I was trying to do a lot of work. I was trying to take control and handle it the way I wanted it to go. But when I decided to give it to Him instead of leaning on my understanding, my power, and sounds so cliche, but leaning on His understanding, like it does say in Proverbs, He became so much more real to me, and I started to see Him better. And I was already going through a process of getting closer to God, so I felt like I was already in a good spot. But when I went through something so hard, where I could have decided to just walk away and try to control everything, I did what I felt like He was telling me to do, which was to just give it to Him and let Him take control. And instead of trying to be practical, pray, worship, read the Bible, talk to Him. And not only in that time did he become more real, because he started to show me. He started to show me Himself. I started to see His love better. I started to see it more. I started to experience it more. And I started to also grow in love. I've always been a kind, loving person. People always know me as that type of guy. But more than ever in my life, when I decided, like, God, I'm gonna come closer to You. I'm gonna lean on your understanding and not mine. I'm feeling absolutely heartbroken, but I'm gonna give my broken heart, my mistakes, my problem, I'm just gonna give it to You. And I wanna try to fix it. But I'm failing. Even though I believe I can fix it, I was failing. And I eventually, gave it to Him. And I started to grow. I started to change in amazing ways that still doesn't really make sense to me. He started to show me Himself. Things that I couldn't have put together started to come together. And He started to give me He started to show me how loving he is, and how good love is, and how I can grow in my love so that I can be more like him, and so that I can love others better and not think about myself so much. I wasn't a super selfish person. I was pretty loving. I felt so, other people felt so. But we're flawed as people. And as I stopped even though I was loving, I was still focusing on my problem I was in. And of course, when you're in a problem, you focus on your problems to try to get out of the problem. But in this time, I had to let go of my focus on the problem, to focus more on God, to focus more on loving others, to focus more on his love for me, to focus more on doing what he said, not just so I can get something, but because he's my father, and he made me, and he loves me, and what he says is good. And life got better. I became better. My love has grown to be a lot better because it's more like him, more like what he says in the Bible, more like what is actually good for people and not just what feels good or whatever. I mean, what feels good is good too, but not always. Anyway, I feel like I'm getting ahead of myself with my wording here. I started to see God's love more. I remember one day, I work with kids. I work at a daycare. And one of the days, the kids and I, now this is fast forward a little bit, but we went to a field trip. We went to a place, to the movies, and we saw Finding Nemo. And it was my first time seeing it in a long time, since I was probably a kid. But I saw it, and when we're in there watching it, some of the kids were kind of scared at some parts. And this one kid named Ben, he was next to me, and he started to cry. He was very afraid of what was on the screen. And it got to the point where I had to take him out of the movie theaters. I had to take him out into the hallway to calm him down, comfort him. I didn't want him to sit there crying, so I'm talking to him, saying, "What's the problem?" He was saying that he was scared. Some parts with the sharks were scary. And then he asked what happened to the mom. The mom died in the beginning. And he also was like, is he going to find his son? Is the dad going to find his son? Nemo's lost. The dad is fighting sharks. When you think about it, it's kind of scary. And the mom died. So when I was a kid, I didn't capture all that. But this kid notices that, and he's crying and he's scared, and I have to comfort him. And the very thing that I was able to think about was love. I said to him, yes, he's going to find his son. And I pretty much gave him the spoiler. I said at the end of the movie, he's going to find his son. Nemo and his dad, they're going to be safe. They're going to be back together. And I said that Nemo's dad loves Nemo so much, very much, and he's not going to give up until he gets to a son. What we're going to see, I was telling him, like, what we're going to see is the love of Nemo's father and how much he cares about his son, how much he loves his son, that we're going to see him go through so much pain, so many different problems to get back to a son because he cares about him so much. He's going to fight sharks, he's going to fight jellyfish, he's going to ride on the back of a turtle, he's going to get captured and fight birds and all this crazy scary things that are scary, that was his life on the line, but he did it so that he can get back to a son because he loves his son. And I said that something along the lines of it's going to be a fun adventure for his dad. His dad is going to go through a lot to get back to Nemo, and we're going to see all of that because his father loves his son. And I think I said something like, just like your dad loves you. And you know, his tears went away, and that bike, oh my gosh, his tears went away, and his father, or sorry, and Ben, you know, Ben felt comfortable with going back into the movies to watch the movie again, to keep watching it. And he didn't cry anymore. He was fine the whole time because I helped him to focus on the love. I told him about the love. I told him about how his dad loves Nemo and how he's going to fight for him. It doesn't really make sense, but somehow love is what fixed the problem. Somehow Nemo's dad was willing to go through all that because he loved his son. It wasn't like his son was going to give him $1 million. He did it because he loved his son. Somehow, it doesn't fully make sense, but love was the fix to the problem. Another day, I got a new car, nice car. One day I'm getting ready to go hang out with my friends. I want to spend the night at my friend's house. And I'm running late. I'm coming from work. I went to work, then I went to the store to get food. Now I'm driving to my house, and I gotta go up to my friend to hang out, and I'm already like really late. But on my way home, I'm going down the street and I see this guy, this man, he's carrying a bunch of like bags, like black bags, and it's hot. He looks tired. He's like carrying them and walking down the street, and he has to take a break and carry them again. And he's not super old. He was like in his 40s, 30s, whatever, I don't know. And I'm running late, so I'm kind of like, I want to, you know, just keep going. But it was hot. He had a lot of like big black bags, and nothing suspicious. It was just, I felt bad. So, you know, I took a right into a neighborhood and then came back out and waited so that he will walk up and I can speak out the window and say, hey, like, do you need a ride? And he was very thankful. He was like, yeah, like for sure, like definitely, I'll take it. So I made him space. He got in the car, put his bags in the car, and we started talking. And we talked a bit about skateboarding, which was cool. But he told me that he was coming from a store that was like a couple, maybe like 2 miles away from where we were at, and he had like another half a mile to go. So I mean, he had to walk there, then walk back. That's a few miles of walking. And he said, it's my daughter's birthday, and I went to the store to, I think he said, to get some presents and get some things, and now I'm walking back to the apartment to celebrate my daughter. And in that moment, I saw the love of a father, the love that he had for his daughter, to get presents and walk in the heat. He had a hoodie on too, I don't know why, but he was walking in the heat. It was hot. He had these big bags, and before anyone says he robbed somewhere, he didn't rob a place. If you were in this situation, you can tell what I'm talking about. But he, said he had to celebrate his daughter, and I'm just like, wow, like to go through all that for some gifts for your daughter, it doesn't really make sense. Like, why do that? And I'm someone that would do that myself. But when I saw it outside looking in, I got to see and got to focus on love. The love of a father, love in general, how someone can go through so much for someone else without much of any gain. It's because of love. And I took him to his apartment, and he gave me like some things. He gave me some like gifts or things that he got from the store. He gave me a shirt, some shirts, a pack of shirts, they were white beaters, and a pack of underwear. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool, I'll take them. And I was kind of wanting some white beaters too, so like it was actually helpful to get that. Another time I saw the love of a father was when, this was pretty recent, I was looking out my window. I'm on a 3rd floor in my house, looking out my window, and I look across the street and I see a U-Haul, and I'm thinking, oh, my neighbors are moving? That sucks. I never really got to, had a full conversation with them. And I see the porch is like stripped up, like the things are taken off the porch. The ground, like the floor, the wood was like stripped up or whatever. And I see a bunch of white stuff everywhere, and I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not a carpenter type of person, so I'm like, what's happening? Are they moving and renovating and whatever for the people that want to buy it? Give me 1 second. I gotta stop that alarm. And so yeah, but I'm looking out the window. I see him come out the house, and I see one of his daughters come out the house, and I'm thinking, oh man, like she's gonna walk on it accidentally, but she never did. But then the other daughter comes from around the house. She's in the front. She walks up to the porch, and then she steps on the thing that the dad was like fixing, the porch where it was wet. He had like some glue down or something. She stepped on it, and she like walks across it, like not paying attention, not focusing, and she messes up what the dad was working on. She messes up part of it, and he got so mad. And he didn't he got mad. He like was like, where's your brain? He said, where's your brain at? Like, what are you thinking? And he like cursed, and then he said some other stuff, and like said some alternative curse words, because he was trying not to curse. And then she, gets off the porch and was like, oh my gosh, and like she felt bad, and she starts to walk away. The dad walks back in the house. The other daughter walks back in the house, and she's like, she feels terrible. She's sad. She walks back where she came from, around the house, into the backyard, and she's leaning on her tree. They have a tree, and she's crying, and she's like sad and feels terrible and probably feels like an idiot, and she's crying. And then the dad comes out a few minutes later, and he says sorry. He says, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to I'm sorry for freaking out like that. It's just I was working on that for 2 hours, and you messed it up, and now it's going to take me time to fix it or whatever. And he's saying I'm sorry, and he gave her a hug, and then he got paper towels. He gave her a hug, and they hugged for like a little while, and he kissed her on the head. And then he went back in the house. He told her, I'm going to get like paper towels, and he got paper towels, came back out, and he wiped her feet and got her feet clean, sprayed them off, Then they went back to the front of the porch, and he gave her like the material to kind of cover up where she stepped, to cover up with the glue or paint where she stepped at. And that was another time I saw the love of a father in two ways. One, because he loved her enough to say sorry and to realize that she made a mistake, so he forgave her and didn't, you know, continue to make her feel terrible about what she did. He apologized. She didn't apologize. Well, maybe she did maybe in that moment when she messed up, she said sorry. I think she did say sorry. But he apologized, and he hugged her, and he washed off her feet because he loved her and didn't want her to feel like an awful person, but also loved her enough to teach her to kind of, when he messed up, try to make it better. So he, gave her the tools so that she can fix what she messed up, disciplining her. Another time where love seems to take over and causes people to do good and also do things that don't make a lot of sense. And another time was when I went to my cousin's funeral. It was a cousin I didn't really know. Actually, I don't think I ever met her. But she was young and she died in a car accident, and it was very sad. And, she was about 19 or 18. And I went to the funeral, and I'm in line. It's a big line. A lot of people were there. Big line to walk up to say, something to the family, write in a notebook, look, just get a hug, give them a hug, sit down. It was a big line. And I'm in that line for a while, and I'm just like nervous because I'm like, these people don't really know me that well. I don't really know them. I know some of them, but I never really hang out with them, so I haven't seen them in a while. And I'm like, I'm nervous and I don't know what to say. I'm like, I don't want to say the wrong thing. Like, what can I say to to help him out, to be comforting? And I did not know what I'm thinking for a while. I'm moving closer in line, and then it dawned on me to just say that you love them. Say that, hey, I love you, and that's it. And that was the only thing that seemed to feel and to be right. Nothing else seemed right but that. So once I got there, I told all of them, some people that I didn't know because she had a boyfriend that I never seen before. And my cousin Ricky, her dad, and I told them I love you. And that felt right. And once I sat down, I think they're Catholic. We were in a Catholic church. I'm not Catholic. I'm Christian. I believe in Jesus, but I'm not Catholic. We were in a Catholic church. We sat down, and when the Catholic priest started talking, I mean, what do you say at a funeral? How can you encourage and comfort people that just lost a 19-year-old in a car accident? But he started to preach about love. He started talking about love, and I'm like, wow, I was just thinking of that, and now you're preaching about it. And it was pretty amazing to see, to hear, and it was actually encouraging, and I felt like it helped a lot of people that day. And one of the things he said is, we're not here to say goodbye, we're not here to say hi, we're not here to say anything besides, just another time to say to the person that passed, I love you. We're here to say, I love you. And that was another time I got to see love in a different way. The love of a father, mom, sibling, boyfriend that has to say goodbye to someone that was so close to them that died. And it wasn't a goodbye, it wasn't a hello, it was, I love you. And that was a time where I'm just like, wow, doesn't even make sense. It doesn't make sense to try to love through pain, but it worked. Now, my last thing is when I got this car. This is a Honda Accord in mint condition, so good. It's a 09, but I got it from an older lady that is 91, and she barely drove it. This car is at like 23,000 miles, and it's a 09. So I was in the process of looking for a car. It took a couple of, when I was actually putting in like a lot of work, real work into getting a car, it took like a month and a half, and I was doing a lot. And once I finally came across this car, it took like 2 weeks to go through the process because it came from a private seller. Had to go through a whole process to get it. I'm even actually financing the car. I'm doing it through my credit union. And once I finally was getting the keys and I'm finally about to take the car home, and it's finally, my old car was terrible. It was, like, had check engine light on, so many problems, squealing. I had my car hood, I had to tape down because the hood latch broke. A messed up car. Overdue for inspection too. And I finally was getting a brand new car, pretty much. And in that time, a lot of people would be like super happy, super excited, super like, let's go, like, yeah, come on. And this was recent. I got this car back in August. But in this time, I felt like a weird feeling. And my friend Ryan, because my friend Ryan and Haley helped me to pick up the car so that I can drive my old car back home and they can drive the new car to my house. And they were helping me with that. And Ryan, it's like, how do you feel? Like, these are two people I love, Christian people that love God, and they've been encouraging in my life recently. And he's like, how do you feel? And I kind of felt weird to not say, I feel amazing. I kind of played it off, but like in that time I kind of felt like nothing. Like I just didn't really know how to feel. Like I was kind of happy, but kind of like not happy, but not depressed. It was just like a nothing type feeling, like kind of just, I don't know, maybe it doesn't feel real to me yet. I don't know. And I didn't say that. I think I just said like, I don't know, but I believe on the drive home, I'm talking to God about it. I'm thinking about it. I'm like, what? Like, I should feel really excited. Like, what is happening? But it wasn't until I started to think about what I could do with my car, how I could love other people through it, how I can serve God and honor God better, or serve him more through my car, how I can love people, love my little brother and sister. Not that I wasn't loving them before, but I could like take them to the beach, and I could take them to the skate park, and I can give people a ride. And that's something I did for that guy with the bags, the dad that was celebrating his daughter's birthday. I gave him a ride. I thought about the things like that I could do with the car. And then I started to feel really happy about the car. I started to feel really, my excitement and happiness and like my like whoa, I got this car, started to come. It's when I started to focus on love and the love that I can share and how I can love God through my car. It's when everything started to get better. I started to feel better, started to feel happy about it. I was already happy in that time in August, but I just felt weird about the car until I thought about that. And if you can kind of capture the message, is that love changes everything. I was going through so much pain. I was so depressed. Like, I can't even believe I went through that. It wasn't until I trusted in God's love for me, what He told me, and when I decided that instead of focusing on myself, I want to focus on my love for God, on loving God, on making Him my number one person. My problem is here, but I'm just gonna, I'm still focused on the problem, but I'm not gonna let that problem. As I was going through the problem, God was strengthening me so that I can love Him more than love, so I can love Him, so I can love Him, focus on my love for Him, grow in my love for Him, and choose doing what He says over choosing what my feelings want me to do because of my problem. And that's where I started to see love more. I started to feel love more. I started to feel the desire and ability to love other people more. I work with kids, and I've always loved working with kids, but my love for kids, for helping them, has grown beyond ever before. And it's all been so amazing. It's all been really, really amazing. And now God is more real to me than ever. I feel it's something I never want to walk away from. I never want to leave what I have with God. And if I have to give up everything so I can stay in this place with God, that's what I'll do. Anyway, so I'll say it like this. In the beginning of the year, I was so depressed that I was just crying all the time, Now recently, definitely when I get deep into worship, I cry tears of joy, tears of relief. I cry tears of I can't believe where I've gotten to in life, how God has changed me inside. God has changed me into a better person, and I just can't even believe it. When I started to, love is good. Love is very good, and I got to see that. So, that's it. Goodbye.